That's exactly right. So it was really um, it was just the way the whole thing was set up was just really powerful, because you have the chance to talk at the beginning, which helps to set your mind and get your priorities straight. And because it's amazing, as soon as we start to articulate things, there shifts happen.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And but I think the really powerful thing was this whole thing about feeling safe and feeling able to let go and allow whatever wanted to come through.
Yeah, yeah. And what was the thing that really sort of stuck with you after this session? What did you discover?
Well, my experience was actually quite profound,
Mm,
and it was not at all anything I've ever experienced before or had the remote inkling of expecting from the session. Um, I have been working for some time in the energy field. I am a Reiki practitioner, and I have been channeling light language for some time. But in the session with you, Natalie, I connected really powerfully with um, uh, an Egyptian experience, an Egyptian connection,
yes.
and with um, beings that I felt very strongly were Egyptian gods, in particular Sekhmet.
Yes.
And this is very interesting for me. Sekhmet as a sort of female warrior figure. Um, uh, the strength that she represents is definitely something that I need in my life. And so it was very empowering to connect with her. And I felt in the experience that I was channeling her,
Yes.
and that she had some quite important things to say
Mm,
to the collective. And I've had to sit with this for a few days because it was really quite profound for
mm,
me. It was quite um, it it I needed to kind of really sort of recalibrate myself afterwards, because there was a big shift that happened as a result. I'm, to be honest with you, I'm still struggling with is this real? You know, is did this really happen? Um, and uh, and but I feel it did happen. There's definitely been a physical shift in my body as well, in terms of energy. I
yes.
felt definitely a kind of sort of cleansing energy come through as a result. Um, I have, um, and I've been sleeping like a log. I've literally had to crash out every afternoon ever since. And I think so. There's a lot of processing that's taking
Yeah.
place as part of that. Um, but what came through really strongly, the message that came through from Sekhmet, and I think actually that Horus was there as well. There was another very
Yeah.
powerful presence, and actually the the being I was communicating with, it just kept changing from um, the goddess with the lion head to the god with the eagle's head, and I couldn't quite work out what it was I was seeing at first. All I felt was this beautiful presence, and um, and it was difficult to kind of work out who was there. I didn't. This wasn't a life. I don't think I was these these beings at any point, but I think that they had something that they wanted to say.
Yes. What is the message that you felt came through? Because you were speaking these words that I couldn't understand, but it sounded absolutely beautiful. And I was very excited to read your email when you translated what that message was.
Yeah. So it was. I spent a bit of time on it, and I wasn't speaking very clearly.
Mm,
But so the message was that we are becoming, that as a collective, there's a sense of change, and we are becoming who we are meant to be. There was a repeating of body, spirit, self, unity awareness, being connected to unity consciousness. And she said, we are one,
Yes.
knowing the truth of self. And I think this is so important. So much of the messaging that we're exposed to at the moment is about division and othering and pigeonholing. And the truth is, we are one. Everything is connected. We are connected to each other. We are each other.
Yes.
We are connected to the universe. We're connected to light and love, and allowing that truth through is really, really pivotal, I think, for us. And of course, we've got this wonderful full moon coming up, which I think is all about love as well. So she said again, self unity knowing. So it wasn't coming through as like kind of complete sentences. It was just feelings. Yes, she said, knowing our true self, and that there is a process of change taking place.
Wow.
Which I think is really exciting.
Love that. So you've done lots of sleeping since. Anything else that you've noticed in the after effects?
Definitely a sense of clarity. There are certain things that I now know that I have to let go. I need to sort of create space of kind of work commitments that are probably not what I need at the moment. So kind of clarity about all of that stuff. I didn't get a kind of crystal clear sense of what I need to do next, which is, of course, what I was hoping. It would be so nice just to be given a kind of step-by-step instruction manual. But that didn't come through. But what did come through was a really strong sense that I'm going in the right direction, which was really reassuring. I think this whole thing of expansion and self-growth, we put a lot of energy into it, and we kind of draw through a lot of energy, and sometimes it's very confusing, the whole process, and sometimes it's quite destabilizing because we start to question things that we took for granted. And it's very reassuring to feel connected into a bigger truth, and that whatever small part we can play as individuals is still very, very important.